Welcome into the LIBA Business Hour, sponsored by Nats to Tassili, highlighting local independent businesses in and around Lincoln on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here's your host, LIBA President and CEO, Bud Seinhorst.
Welcome to the LIBA Business Hour. It is Colorado Football Saturday. So hopefully everybody is ready to eat some buffalo today. When we start today, we want to thank our sponsor, Nats Tasseling. Earn cash, build character, Nats Tasseling. Learn more about Nats at notafraidtosweat.com. Our opening segment today is sponsored by UStop. Earn points that spend like cash with the kickback card, which could get you snacks and even gas. Available at all 24 UStop locations. You can check out the show on 937theticket.com, the 937 The Ticket app, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Allo channel 951. All right, so today we have a bit of a special show. We have our first group of husband and wife who actually have separate businesses. And so we are going to have them in today. I'm excited to have our guest today, Braden McLaughlin with Bridgewater Consulting, and Courtney McLaughlin, who has a business called Seaweeda Creations. So we're going to work with them today and learn more about their businesses and what they do. They're in different industries. But also with Courtney and Braden, I have noticed how much they work together supporting each other. So we'll have a lot of fun conversations with Courtney and Braden today. Hopefully Nick's ready to mute their microphones if they start getting into it too much. So first of all, Courtney and Braden, welcome to the LIBA Business Hour. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
I'm excited about this because especially over the last few years, watching both of your businesses and how they've grown and evolved and developed, and it's been really cool. So we're going to start with Braden. I'm going in alphabetical order, so we'll stay in order. So Braden, first of all, just tell us a bit about you and your background and kind of how you got into what you're doing, and then we'll get into more about Bridgewater Consulting after that.
Sure. So I actually studied architecture for 4 years at UNL and got my master's in community planning from the University of Cincinnati. And for a few years, I worked for the government and just kind of got a little bored just doing the paper pushing and the forms and everything like that, and wanted to get back doing design work. So I started Bridgewater back in 2014, just kind of organically happened. I never really exactly set out to start my own business, but it's just happened the way it did. And so here we are 9 years later, just designing custom homes and additions and some kitchen remodels, pretty much any residential design work. That's our bread and butter, but we will do a little bit of commercial when it kind of drops into our lap. But
excellent. So you were you got your degree, you were out there, you were just kind of doing different things. And then what was it that prompted you in 2014 to decide to start Bridgewater?
So I actually was working for the Metro Area Planning Agency up in Omaha and kind of got tired of the commute and was thinking, okay, well, maybe I can find some architecture firms that I could get a full-time job with. Well, none of them were hiring, but every time I'd show my portfolio, they'd take a look and be like, well, this is really cool. This work is nice. We've never seen anything like this. And so ended up getting a few freelance jobs for about 6 months. So I thought, well, I might as well just ride this out and see how long it takes for going out on my own with the freelance stuff. And so then 6 months turned into 9 years, and here we are.
Very good. So Courtney, okay, you've got a little bit more of, I'll say, a unique background to being a business owner. So tell us a little bit about your background, first of all.
Well, I grew up in a family of small business owners, and I always knew that I wanted to own my own business. And so my love of sewing and baking started when I was a kid with my mom. And from there, I just kind of honed my skills. And in 2012, I started Seaweeda Creations, and it was more of just like a craft-based business, but it has evolved and changed since then.
So what were you doing before you decided to jump off and do this full time?
I went to school for 3 years at UNL, and I got my degree in education, elementary education, and I started teaching in 2012. So it was kind of just a side hustle, something that I like to do outside of lesson planning and grading and things like that. So it kind of gave me a creative outlet outside of school.
So you decided when you started teaching that it wasn't, teaching wasn't enough. Being an elementary teacher, you had to have something to fill up your time, huh?
Right. I always have to stay busy.
Excellent. So you kind of had that love that you developed over the years of sewing and baking specifically, and so you decided to do that just to kind of be your outlet, I guess is what you called it, right? So when you decided to do that, you decided, okay, I should probably just make this a business, and as I'm doing it, and your generation is a little different than mine because we're far enough away in age. Like with the side hustle thing, it seems like kind of everybody had that side hustle. Talk about kind of as you're starting. I mean, that had to be a little interesting starting as a new teacher and starting your business at the same time.
It started relatively small. So I just kind of did a few craft fairs around Lincoln the first fall. And then from there, I kind of just started growing and growing and doing more and more. And as people realized what I could do, they would start asking me to do things for them. And so after 10 years of teaching, I actually decided to quit, which I quit last summer. And now I do the sewing and baking full time. So people come to me with requests of things that they would like made or embroidered, and I can do that for them.
Excellent. So, and so you quit teaching about a little over a year ago, right? So you've been out full time, so to speak, for about a year, right?
Yes.
Excellent. And so not only did you decide to quit teaching a year ago, I believe that's not too long before you and Braden decided, well, not decided, but before you two got married. So in the last year, you guys have come a long ways.
Right. We've had a lot of cool life event changes that have taken place in the past year, getting married, going on our own with our businesses, and having a baby.
Yeah. A lot of things on your bingo card that have filled up in the last year, as they would say.
Right.
So I'm going to switch back to Braden and talk about, you talked about residential, you talked about remodel, you talked about sometimes commercial. So let's talk about the commercial piece first. Like, what are some of the types of commercial products or projects that you've done, and just talk a little bit about those and how those have evolved, and what's kind of your wheelhouse when it comes to commercial products or commercial projects, excuse me.
So a lot of it just kind of depends on some of the projects that we've gotten from some of our networking associates and some of our relationships we have with contractors and even other architects. We did the auxiliary locker rooms for the Lincoln Stars. We've got a bar that's under construction up on 48th and St. Paul, not too far from Nebraska Wesleyan. So that should be open in September. That's by the same folks who own Grata. So that'll be a fun one to see, where we can just kind of sit in our own bar that we designed.
Is this Grata 3.0 now?
It's not Grata 3.0.
Okay.
I can't tell the name.
Can't reveal the name. That's
can't
okay.
reveal the name, but yeah, it should be.
Cool.
I think they're shooting for finishing construction here at the end of the month, hopefully.
Excellent.
But,
well, it'll be fun for them. So,
yeah.
Before we switch over to kind of the residential and the other stuff, let's talk a little bit more about, like, what are, besides the Grata, I know you do projects all over the place. Like, what's the most fun you've had on a commercial project, and just talk about that, and which one, like, maybe you're most proud of, I'd say.
I think the bar, the 48 bar on up in University Place is probably the one we're most proud of. It took a long time to kind of sort through that one, and we got a lot of kickback from the city with some of the regulations and some of the issues with the site that with it being an older building that we kind of had to change things up a little bit on the fly. But I think that one's going to be a real beautiful project. That one's actually one that that's as far as commercial projects go, that's probably the one we probably had the most fun with.
Guilty.
There we go. Now I'm back. Sorry about that. So you mentioned kind of the adjustments that you had to make in these projects. And I would imagine that an adjustment in your world is not just the easiest thing to navigate. Talk about how you have to kind of make some of those adjustments.
Well, it depends on what it is and where we're at in the process. Like, for example, how we kind of do things. Custom homes is kind of our biggest bread and butter. So we'll talk to a couple of property owners who will have a piece of property they're wanting to build a new house on, and they'll kind of say, hey, we're wanting to do this. We want this number of bedrooms. We want this kind of a style of a house, floor plans, things like that. And then we'll kind of drive through it on the laptop, like 3-dimensionally with the 3D model, and they can kind of see, hey, this is what the house is going to look like. This is what the kitchen will look like from the dining room and so on. And we can make any adjustments from there fairly easy. Then we'll take that model, kind of turn it into the set of plans that they can either hire a contractor. If they've already hired a contractor, they can go get their permit. From that point, it's usually pretty easy, but the challenges are when we're running into like older properties, especially with home remodels, especially with homes built before World War II. To be honest, you're going to run into some challenges with pretty much any home renovation, because as soon as we start kind of tearing into walls, there's always something that you just weren't expecting. But some of the older homes, there's a lot of things where it's just all of a sudden we'll realize, oh, this wall's actually load bearing, or something weird will pop up and things like that. So we've gotten used to making adjustments on the fly, and just kind of being able to turn those changes around for our clients pretty quickly is one of the reasons why a lot of people keep working with us over and over again.
Excellent. So I'm going to switch back over to Courtney here really quick. So with Seaweed Creations, I follow your Facebook page, and there's just, you are across the spectrum with the different things that you do. Let's start with your non-edible creations, because we'll get to the other ones here in a minute, but talk about just kind of some of the different things that you do and how people can find you.
Great. So first of all, you can find me on Facebook, like Bud said. I do have a website called seaweedacreations.com. And then I'm in some stores around town, which I can mention here in a second. But some of the things that I make are t-shirt quilts and other quilts if people are interested in having a quilt made. I make lots of kid items like crayon wallets and fabric chalkboards. One of the places I have items at in town is Gloria Deo. So I make a lot of religious items like rosary cases, children's-sized chasubles, mass kits. I have items in Habitat Kitchen and Gift Store and Tomato and Jilly's Socks and such. So those are more kitchen items like hot pads and jar openers and things like that. So it's a wide variety of things that I make and create.
So do you have some kind of like mass production facility, sewing facility down there in the basement, like, taken over the man cave of Braden's and turned it into a major like sewing facility? I mean, because this has got to keep you busy all the time.
It is pretty much a full-time job between the two businesses. But no, I do all the sewing in basically a 12 by 12 foot room. And I have 3 machines, sometimes all 3 of them going at the same time. And it's just a one-woman operation up here.
So you said you do a lot of craft fairs and those kind of things. Talk about some of the different places that you're able to go and sell your products.
This year I'm not doing a lot of craft fairs, but St. John's was always a good craft fair. St. Mark's Cathedral of the Risen Christ has a nice craft fair. I do one in Iowa at the Clarinda Craft Carnival, where there's like 5 different buildings of craft.
That's a tongue twister.
Yes, it is.
The Clarinda Craft Carnival. I tried to go slow and I got twisted up.
But I'm hoping to push more of the sales online, just because we are having a baby and I'm not going to be able to get out as much next year. So, yeah.
Excellent. So, real quick, we're going to talk about your other part of your business, and then when we come back, we'll talk some more with you guys. But so you have developed a thing called Flights of Cookies. And just before we go to break, I want you to give our audience a teaser on what a flight of cookies means.
Well, flights are kind of a big deal right now. So if you've ever been to a microbrewery or a winery where you can get a little flight or sampling of craft beers or wines, it's the same concept except with cookies.
And now, so that is going to be fun. We're going to talk about that when we come back. But before we go to break, I need to know, is it true that Braden holds the Guinness Book of World Records for the most cookie flights sampled?
Probably.
This will be fun. I'm enjoying talking to you guys and talking more and sharing more about your businesses with our listeners. I can't wait to come back and talk more about these flights of cookies. When we come back, we'll be back after the break on 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey, moms and dads, bring the whole crew to a Salt Dogs baseball game and unleash the fun. Visit Haymarket Park all summer for Fireworks Fridays, Souvenir Saturdays, Sunday Family Fun Days, and more. With 50 home games, even weekdays can be unforgettable. Planning an event? Make it a home run with group discounts. When you need an outing the whole family will enjoy, unleash the fun with the Salt Dogs. Call 402-474-2255 or visit saltdogs.com for tickets.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Ready to upgrade your combine with new technology to make your harvest more efficient, meaning more money in your pocket? The team at Landmark Implement is here to help find the right combine for harvest. Plus, when you purchase a pre-owned combine from Landmark, you are backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network, along with mobile techs and parts drop-off points to keep you up and running, reducing downtime. View inventory online at landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark to experience the Landmark difference.
Problem gambling can destroy an individual's finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you are a loved one or struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Nutrition Authority invites you to save 35 to 75% off at our back-to-school blowout. We're taking our better-than-internet prices and cutting them even deeper, bringing you the biggest sale of the season. Monday, August 14th through 19th, the back-to-school blowout is on at Nutrition Authority. For location information, check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
This is Brad with Midwest Bank, proudly serving our Nebraska communities for over 70 years. We're a community bank, making local decisions, supporting local organizations, and helping local businesses and farms succeed. We are dedicated to serving our clients and helping them meet their financial needs with sound, innovative banking solutions. From an array of checking and deposit accounts, cash management services, to small business, real estate, and ag lending. We're here for you, your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com. Member FDIC.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started. Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years and changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to novotnynutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior.
It's not often a man wakes up and says, "I feel the best I have in years." We hear this all the time at Limitless Mail, and it can happen to you when you go to Limitless Mail and get a blood test to see what your body is missing. That's how simple it is. Schedule a free consult with Limitless Mail. Discuss your symptoms. Do the blood test. If your lab results say you're low in testosterone, we can fix that. Age is just a number. You can feel your best again. Just ask Limitless Mail.
The Butchery by Venue is Lincoln's premier specialty grocers. Take the quality of Venue home with you with our hand-cut steaks, handcrafted burgers, and locally sourced offerings. Browse our wide selection of specialty products designed to enhance your dining experiences with cheeses, spices, sauces, and more. We also have an exclusive collection of liquors, whiskeys, and bourbons at prices you're sure to love. Stop in to the Butchery by Venue today, located in our Venue at Home storefront at 70th and Pioneers, just 2 doors down from Venue Restaurant and Lounge.
America's been around since 1776. That's nothing. America's still just learning how to party. The Irish? The Irish have been doing it for thousands of years. Party the Irish way at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket. They've got your favorite Irish beers on tap, along with all the locals and domestics. Plus great house cocktails, a huge selection of Irish whiskey, and the best Irish pub food in town. See the full menu and list of specials online at mckinneyspub.com or just head down there. McKinney's Irish Pub at 7th and P in the Haymarket.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
The sweet relief of air conditioning after a hot day in the summer sun. For only $2.88 a day, LES helps power life's special moments and your comfort. Learn more at les.com/value.
Back to the LIBA Business Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This segment sponsored by Integrated Behavioral Health Services.
Welcome back. We are here on the LIBA Business Hour at 93.7 The Ticket. This segment is sponsored by Integrated Behavioral Health Services, building a stronger, healthier community through advocacy, inclusion, perseverance, unity, and compassion. Learn more at ibhealthservices.com. We are here with Courtney and Braden McLaughlin. Braden has they both have their own businesses, which is fascinating to watch because they're both kind of going a million miles an hour in their own direction. But then I think they're also going a million miles an hour from my observation behind each other, which I think is pretty awesome as a husband and wife team. So Courtney, Braden has Bridgewater Consulting. Courtney has Seaweed Creations. Just a great husband and wife duo. So before we get back into Courtney's flights of cookies, I want to talk I'd like you guys to talk just a little bit about being being newlyweds, about to be new parents, and both being entrepreneurs in different industries. No, you guys couldn't be further apart in industry if you tried, I don't think. But how you complement each other and work with each other to support each other in your businesses. And I don't know who wants to go first, so I'll just let you guys jump in.
I know personally on my end, Courtney's been a fantastic help as far as not only just with some of the small day-to-day logistics, like, for example, helping out with site visits if we've got to do site measurements, helping out with contracts, sending out billings, things like that. But even just kind of having someone you trust right next to you to just kind of be a good sounding board for if you're hitting a snag or if you're stuck kind of design wise, or if you're just even needing a little inspiration. I can always count on her 1,000% to be there if it's just like having a second pair of eyes to take a look at a design that's been kind of vexing me, or even to just have someone to just be there and to listen to you gripe at the end of a long day after you're dealing with local regulations and everything. She has been fantastic, and probably one of the biggest reasons why this has been our best year ever is because she has been so supportive and so helpful. I know I've got a team of 6, but she's one of my most important ones, even though she's not really in the payroll or whatever. But she's been my rock this whole time, helping us out while everything's just kind of exploded.
We both kind of pushed each other to go full time with our businesses. So it's been fun to grow together with these businesses and help each other. And Braden has been my rock as well. He's the one that enticed me to start the cookie business called Flights and Bites. And he's there with me the first Saturday of every month at the Haymarket Farmers Market, sampling cookies to everybody who will stop and taste them, and is always chatting me up to all of his friends and customers. And yeah, so I owe a lot of my success of Flights and Bites to my amazing husband.
Wow. So, okay. So you guys said something in there, and I think it's fascinating to listen to, because within the last year, you guys have both decided to go full-time 100% in your business. And I think you guys have kind of just skated right over that like twice now. So my job is accountability. So I'm going to hold you. So talk about, like, that's a lot of change in the last year. And I guess, what was it that was the light switch for each of you? I mean, other than the other person, but like, okay, it's just time. So Braden, what was it that you were like, I've been doing this, and I know you were working with a company, I think out of Omaha, right? Doing some work, plus you were doing your own work with Bridgewater. But just talk about like the day that you walked in the room and you turned the light switch on and it shined and went, yep, this is what I got to do.
Well, I think the thing for me was there just weren't enough hours in the day. I was working full-time for a company called E&A Consulting, and they're in Lincoln and Omaha. And they're a fantastic company. I loved working for them. I loved the people. I loved everything about the place. But the problem kind of became after COVID, Bridgewater was making more money than the job that I had with E&A. So that really got the wheels going, like, okay, you were talking about side hustles and like trying to really define, all right, so which one's the side hustle here? But it probably wasn't until Courtney and I got married and she moved in that I really started realizing, okay, I'm doing way too much. Just because when you're single and you're not living together, you can do your day job and then come home, and I do stuff for Bridgewater for 8-9 hours a night. But then when you're trying to get to know each other as spouses and realizing, oh my gosh, this is unsustainable, that was really when things kind of started ticking. But for us, it was actually the beginning of 23. We started doing more out of state work for the first time. And that was what really kind of tipped the scales, where it's just like, the momentum we had with Bridgewater was really starting to become sustainable and beyond, where I really needed to devote 100% of my time to this if I really didn't want to half-ass two things.
Good. Courtney, how about you? What was because you had you're an awesome teacher, and the only grief I gave you when you resigned as a teacher was I wanted my daughter to have you as a teacher, and I told you that's why I was mad at you, but that lasted for about 3.2 seconds. But you've got a nice career. You're doing a great job as a teacher. The parents and students really appreciated you as a teacher. You had 10 years under your belt. And then all of a sudden you had this, and I'd never used the word side hustle because I'm like, if you own a business, you're working your tail off. So there's no side about it. There's no hustle about it. When your name is on the bottom right-hand corner of that check blank, there's something more to it. But like, what was it where you said, okay, it's just, I'm gonna walk away from, I'll just say, I'll walk away from a guarantee in a teaching salary, right? To I'm going to go into no guarantees, and I'm gonna go make it work. What was the thing that kind of jumped for you?
That's kind of a tough question. I did enjoy teaching a lot, and I do miss it. That's why I like to sub for Cathedral whenever I can get the chance. But meeting Braden and getting married kind of helped push me in the direction of the small business. It was just something that I felt, like I said earlier, I really wanted to own my own business. And this was just a stepping stone into that role. So 10 years teaching, I'm going to look for something else. Let's go ahead and do this small business thing full time and see where it goes. And I couldn't be happier and successful. And it's just been really fun the past year and a half to see it grow into what it has become.
That's awesome. Okay, so now we're going to get back into these flights of cookies, Courtney, because I cannot let that topic not come back up. But so talk about, so you said it's, so like if I go down to the local craft brewery, or sometimes you'll go to certain bars that carry a lot of different beers, and they'll have a little flight with 4 or 5 different beers in it. How does a flight work? Like, I mean, tell us what's included if I come out and buy a flight of cookies from Seaweed Creations.
So the cookies are packaged in groups of 6, and at the
just like beer, 6-packs, right?
Right. At the farmers market, I have about 16 different flavors of cookies to choose from. So Braden will sample the different cookies if you want to try some, and then you'll come into the tent and you'll pick out your 4 favorite flavors of cookies, and they fit in this cute little box. So you get 2 dozen cookies for $20, and you have yourself a little cookie flight.
That is awesome. So now one of the things that I have loved about your Flights and Bites business is the amazing different combinations you do in your cookies. Because okay, so just so our listeners understand, when you see Courtney and, well, Braden, but mostly Courtney, when you see her at the farmer's market, you're not buying like chocolate chip cookies, sugar cookies. That's not what you're getting. Talk about some of these cool different flavors, I guess, of your cookies.
Sure. So we have about 50 different flavors of cookies that you can
said
choose
50.
from. Yes. So I've got a list of about 50 different ones that I can choose from to pick out the 16 for the next farmer's market. But I mean, they range from peanut butter bacon to an orange creamsicle to cinnamon chip snickerdoodle, fruity pebble, cocoa pebble. Some of them I include sourdough starter in them. So it's not just a chocolate chip cookie, it's a chocolate chip cookie with sourdough starter in it. So it makes it really soft and chewy and delectable. So I could go on and on about all the different flavors, but
how do you come up with 50 different flavors of cookies?
So
like, I mean, are you just sitting in the kitchen one night and you're like, hey, Braden, pass the peanut butter. Hey, there's a package of bacon. Like, let's put these together and have a cookie. Like, where do you come up with these amazing flavors?
So it's not really a secret. The recipes I usually find online, but what makes them better is the love and care that I put into making them. So there's just some little techniques that I use that make the cookies hard to resist, so to speak.
Yes, I will say they are hard to resist. So Okay, Braden, I'm going to put you on the spot. What are the 5 top flavors of cookies that Courtney has? What is Braden's top 5?
The sourdough chocolate chip, pina colada, Fruit Pebbles. I would say, the peanut butter bacon is a good one. And probably the strawberry delight.
Very good. Well, we should have done like the old newlywed game, which you both are too young to understand. But like one of you would be hiding in another room, and we would ask the questions and write down the answers, and then you had to guess which one was right. So, Courtney, what are your top favorites?
I honestly like them all. I can't choose my favorite. I don't typically eat them just because I need to use them for sale. I really like the sourdough chocolate chip as well. That was kind of the one that got the whole thing started. I just made one today. The cinnamon chip snickerdoodles turned out amazing. So it's kind of a toss up between all of them, what my favorites are.
Very good. So I would be interested. I love the story of how you two have developed your businesses and how you've grown and the evolution of those. What are some tips that you would give young entrepreneurs or any entrepreneur about being successful and starting their own business? I'll let Courtney.
Sorry. Go ahead, babe.
It takes a major leap of faith, but once you do it, you really don't ever look back. At least I haven't. It's a life-changing decision, but for us, it's been for the better. So it's just that first initial step that's the hardest. But after that, it's never easy, of course. Owning a business, like you said, is very hard, but it's so worth it to know that you're the one in charge of your destiny.
All right, B, good luck following that up.
It's one of those things where it's high risk, but it's high reward. Obviously, when you start your own business, it's not for the timid. It's not safe. Anytime you do something new, it's going to be challenging until you kind of get your feet and try and figure out how your process is. My biggest piece of advice would be to not let the self-doubt get to you. I mean, I've been doing this for 9 years, and there's always a day where I'm just it's easy to get down on yourself if you missed out on a contract or something went wrong on a project or something. It's easy to beat yourself up and be like, oh gosh, I'm not doing what I should be doing. But it's all a comparison. And if you're too busy comparing yourself to other businesses, it'll suck all the joy of what you're doing. So it's my advice would be to just push through the self-doubt, because that's always going to be there. Even if you've been in business for 50 years, you're always going to second guess things. I wish I should be doing this, should be doing that. But just focus on doing what you love, and everything else will kind of fall into place.
It's very fascinating. So, and you guys both know I own a business too outside of my LIBA work. And it is not a side hustle. It's a business because I work too hard to call it a side hustle. But that's just my own, that's an old guy talking. But for me, it's interesting because everybody kind of gets to that place on their own and how they come about it. Never in my life had I ever dreamed like business owner was not on my lifetime bingo card. Don't take a year. It wasn't in my life. Like that was never something in my mindset. And, but once it happened, it was kind of like, this is pretty cool. And I kind of got pushed into mine. But with you guys, it sounds like this has been something that's kind of evolved with you throughout your life, right?
I would say so. Like Courtney, I come from a long line of small business owners. Like there's several aunts and uncles in my family own their own business. My grandfather owned his own business. And I think it's just kind of in the blood for both of us.
I agree.
My
mom
Go
owned
ahead, Courtney.
my mom owned a preschool for 30 years, and my dad owns a welding shop back in my hometown. So it's, like I said, it's been in my blood since I was a baby.
It is fascinating. You guys both know I'm heavily involved with junior achievement, and I love talking to those young kids. And I mean, I'm working with kids from kindergarten all the way up to, through the junior high, and talking to them about entrepreneurship and encouraging them, because for me, one of the most awesome things I've been able to do is to be able to manage my business and also continue the work that I do at LIBA. But the things and freedoms, and I think Courtney, you alluded to that. You're in charge of your own destiny. You're the one that makes those decisions. You don't have to look back, and you get to do those things. So it's fun, and I'm glad that you guys grew up in that world. I did not grow up with a ton of entrepreneurs in the family. That's just, every family's different. But like every ounce that I can pour into those kids, like I wish I could tell every kid to start their own business and just see how it goes. Because I think it would be a lot of fun. And I think there's a lot of people, and I'll put myself in that. I never thought I was smart enough. People say you got to be rich to start a business. I was never any of those things. I was just a guy that worked my tail off and fell into this owning a business thing. And it was like, whoa. And like, I don't know if I've ever told, some night over one of those flights, either beer or cookies or both, if that's ever an option. The first meeting I had where I decided I had to start a business was on December 26th of 2016. And on December 31st, my paperwork was filed with the Secretary of State's office to register my business. It was like, I had a breakfast meeting. I went, oh boy, this just escalated quickly. I went home and told my wife, and Nikki goes, you want a what? And I said, yep. And she's like, why? And I went through the whys and everything else. And I said, now we need a name. And we spent 24 hours picking a name, called the attorney, said, here's the name. Here's what else do you need? And on the 31st, he called and said, you now own a business. And I looked at Nikki and I said, well, we now own a business. And so it's fun to hear your stories that you are around that, because it's been something, like I said, it's been rewarding, and I'm sure it's the same for you guys. And I'm just proud of both of you for what you did.
Thank you. That means a lot.
So, okay. So let's, first of all, Braden, tell us how people can find out more about Bridgewater Consulting.
You bet. So we've got a website. It's bridgewaterconsultingne.com. NE is in Nebraska. We're on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn. But yeah, a lot of times if you're a contractor, we're always working with more contractors to design plans. If you're a homeowner and you're wanting to design a new home, reach out to us and we can design it and we can help you find a contractor. If you are just looking to remodel your house, we did so many during COVID because everybody was bored. They were stuck at home and they were looking at their house and kind of went, I don't like this, I don't like that. And we did so many home remodels during COVID. So yeah, if you're kind of looking to spruce up your existing house, or if you want to add on, we can do that too. So pretty much anything residential, that's kind of what are right in our wheelhouse. Otherwise, we've got, we're always involved with LIBA and the chamber, and always kind of around helping out sponsorships for local events and things like that.
BridgewaterConsultingNE.com. All right, Courtney, yours is a little different because we can find you at seaweedacreations.com, and you're going to kind of move some things to online. But talk about when you're at the farmers market and all of that kind of stuff, so people know when to find you.
Sure. So the last one that we'll be at, unfortunately, is October 7th here in town. But you can find my cookies at James Arthur Vineyards and Country Sliced Ham Store. And then this is kind of new, and you guys are the first to hear about it. But we are excited to partner with Kincaid Brewing Company on October 25th, where we will be offering a beer and cookie flight pairing. So be checking Facebook, both Flights and Bites Facebook page and Kincaid Brewing Company's Facebook page for more information coming soon. And you can always reach out to me via text or email through Facebook as well.
Oh no, it looks like
we lost Bud.
We lost Bud. So with that, oh, he might be back. Hold on.
I'm back. Sorry. Darn technology anyway. So, okay. So Courtney's big announcement, and I'm sorry I did not hear it. So let's do it one more time. So you get double promo credit today, Courtney. My apologies.
Oh, don't apologize. So we're partnering with Kincaid Brewing Company on October 25th. Where we will be offering a beer and cookie pairing, flight pairing. So be checking not only Kincaid Brewing's Facebook page, but my Flights and Bites Facebook page as well for more information coming soon.
What date was that?
October 25th.
October 25th, Kincaid and Flights and Bites. That should be a lot of fun. I'm excited for that for you. I know that's been something you've been working on. And it's great that you have your products at Country Sliced Ham and out at James Arthur Vineyards as well. So again, this is Courtney and Braden McLaughlin. Braden has Bridgewater Consulting. Courtney has Seaweed Creations, a great husband and wife team that's doing great things and great entrepreneurs. We're very proud of them and what they do. Appreciate all their involvement with LIBA. And we will be back after the break on 93.7 The Ticket.
Our Remington Homes has really expanded and taken off in the last 5 years.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders talking about their exciting new division, Remington Homes, which makes the home building process easier and more affordable.
The exciting thing about a Remington home is you get to choose your floor plan from predetermined floor plans. You can select your options. We give you a lot of choices. By selecting certain floor plans, they're just easier to build. And you couple that with our great lot selection in all different areas. People do not want to be married to their house payment. They want to get a nice house with nice finishes in a great area for an affordable price. And that's what Remington Homes are all about.
Home building is easier with a Remington home from Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at remingtonlincoln.com. remingtonlincoln.com.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today, with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Back to the LIBA Business Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This segment sponsored by Ascend Aesthetics.
Welcome back to the LIBA Business Hour. Thank you again to Braden and Courtney McLaughlin. A fun conversation today. This segment is sponsored by Ascend Aesthetics. Lose inches and gain confidence with the medical weight loss and body contouring clinic at Ascend Aesthetics. Learn more at slimdowne.com. All right, Nick. So a couple of very important things that we need to talk about this week.
Well,
Um,
first off, Bud, sorry, the flights, the cookie flights are something I can for sure get behind. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, you buy a 6-pack of beer, you can buy a 6-pack of cookies.
Perfect.
But it's funny because you get 4 packages of 6 of cookies. So you can have the peanut butter bacon, you can have the fruity pebbles, you can, I mean, just, hey, these are the 4 I want. And you're not, unlike some establishments with adult beverages, you are not limited in the number that you can buy. I'm sure Courtney would be happy to sell you everything.
Exactly. Okay. Now what's coming up here in the near future?
Okay, first of all, before we get to that, it was another record-breaking week in the state of Nebraska in women's sports.
That's right.
Did you know, number 1, the University of Nebraska versus Creighton volleyball game, the largest crowd to watch a women's volleyball game at the Devaney Center in the history.
I did
kind
see
of a
that.
cool deal. Most importantly, I was there, Nick Sainert.
No way.
The Division II record is back where it belongs in Kearney, Nebraska, home of the Lopers.
Well, so obviously we're doing the show over the video stream this week. And so normally we're in the studio and you don't get to display your big Lopers sign right above your head. So
here's a good thing.
You're going to want to
here's a fun story.
You're going to want to keep doing it over the stream just so you can show off that Lopers sign.
Or I might just show up wearing a Loper helmet one of these days in the studio. So, okay, so the history of this sign, which has nothing to do with the LIBA Business Hour, but since you asked, so when I was a freshman in college, they had opened the new Health and Sports Center out in Kearney, and this is one of the 4 scoreboard panels from the original scoreboard
No way.
at the University of Nebraska Kearney Health and Sports Center.
That is awesome.
Yes. I will not tell you how I acquired it. I will just tell you a friend gifted it to me. But it hangs proudly in my office.
I've learned by now not to ask questions. You have it. You have it.
So here's the thing though, Nick. Think about this. Division I women's volleyball record, state of Nebraska.
Yep.
Division II volleyball, women's volleyball attendance record, state of Nebraska. I'm just going to say, hey, Wesleyan, where you at? It's time to pick up the Division III record, and we can have all 3 of those NCAA records right here in the state of Nebraska. So, Nick, dial somebody up over at Wesleyan, tell them to get her done for us, all right? You are the man. All right, so here's what we got coming up. We've got a busy month of September planned for our members. On Thursday, September 14th, we have our BizNet, which is going to be hosted by Allo down there at about 21st and K at their shop. Come by after work from 4:30 to 6. On the 19th, we have our LIBA luncheon. We are going to have Lynn McNally from the Benevolent Horseman and Warhorse Casino come out and talk about Warhorse. So you might want to make sure you come to that luncheon, Nick. On the 23rd, we have our annual LIBA tailgate over at From Nebraska Gift Shop at 8th and Q. And then on the 26th, we have our Coffee and Contacts, which will be hosted by Ball, Loudon, and their law firm at Hampton Enterprises, down there in Williamsburg. So it'll be a really good time. We've got a lot of stuff coming up in September. Also, I cannot fail to forget that September 16th, next Saturday, is going to be the first home game. And it should be a fun time in downtown Lincoln. I'm excited for it. And potentially, we could be doing the LIBA Business Hour live from the new studio on 11th and O Street. But sometime this month, we're going to be doing the LIBA Business Hour there, right?
What I will tell you is that earlier this week, before I left town, they have installed the desk and they have built the actual radio station. So
that
in mind,
awesome.
As much as I know, at least, we are still on track for moving in next Friday, September 15th, which means it's a day before the first Nebraska home game. And the LIBA Business Hour will be one of the first shows that we have on there. Now, Bud, we can't talk about next Saturday, without talking about later today. September 9th. Nebraska is in Boulder. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on this one. How do we see the game later this morning going?
Nick, here's the deal. I think I like the way our defense looked last week against Minnesota. I thought they had some moments where they shined really well. At the end of the day, you can't turn the football over. Period. End of story. You got to take care of the football. And we're going to find out a lot about our defense against Colorado. It's a very hostile environment. I think it's going to be a close one. I think it's about a field goal to a touchdown either way.
Okay.
I'm hoping that the Huskers bring this one home. It's going to be a tough. If they bring that one home, they've earned a stripe on their helmet. I'll tell you that. It's going to be a tough game. Colorado is, I think, Colorado at the skill positions was shocking to me last week. I'll just say that.
So, yeah, well, and how quick they were able to make it look somewhat smooth, right?
Yeah.
In game one of a head coach. So
and I think some of those guys that played together at Jackson, I think that makes a difference. I think there's a rhythm there. I think we are going to develop that rhythm. But I'll tell you this: I was impressed with our offensive line for the first time in a few years, where I actually saw them push guys around. So
I would agree with you. With that being said, right after you guys get done listening to this, it's going to be the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Myself, Jay, DP, Jake, Terrell, and Rashawn all out here in Colorado right now, and so I'm even repping the course shirt just to become a native Colorado citizen, if you will, because I'm nervous to wear Husker gear in Boulder. I'm nervous.
I don't blame you. And hopefully you got a rental car that has like Florida plates or something too.
Hey, I was not in charge of the rental car. That's all Jay Foreman. And so we should be good.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So one quick question before we get to the final word, Nick. And I know you're going to see DP out in Colorado.
Yep.
I got to hope that the Loper banner got put up in the new studio. That's all I got to say.
Hey, I don't have any say on what comes up or what doesn't go up in that new studio. It's going to be
Tell Rico he's got to help. We brothers from the Lopers got to stay together.
That's true. And even like Pete Ferguson, who does a show on Sundays, is a Loper. His daughter plays volleyball for UNP.
We are everywhere.
So
we are everywhere.
Yep.
Excellent. The final word is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative, helping student athletes excel within the NIL landscape. Learn about how you can be involved at 1890Nebraska.com, 1890Nebraska.com. Thanks, Courtney and Braden, for coming on the show. We appreciate it. Next Saturday, we'll be back our normal hours, 9 to 10 a.m. First home game on September 16th. We'll be hopefully downtown in the new studio. Come by 11th and O Street. You'll be able to peek in. You can wave at us and while we're doing the show. So we look forward to that, and we will see you next week right here on the LIBA Business Hour on 93.7 The Ticket.